This is hard to admit, but sometimes I feel like the second place wife. Not because my husband treats me poorly, he doesn't, but because someone else already got the first. She got the wedding, she got the house, she got to build a life with him, and not just that, they had 2 kids together, a boy and a girl. And I know I sound petty. I know it probably even sounds a little bit miserable, but these are the feelings I don't say out loud because deep down, I'm jealous. Not of her exactly, but of what she got, of what I didn't. I mean, she got to have 2 kids without, a limit. And then I was stuck with, we got our son and that was it. End of conversation. No more kids. And I do hate that about myself. I hate that I feel this way sometimes because I know I'm blessed. I know I have so much to be grateful for.
This is the reason why you need to know what you need versus what you want. And this is the reason why you need to ask the most important questions before saying I do. Even though those questions may seem too scary or might scare your partner, as long as you have the same agreement on the ones that are most important to you, that's what matters. There is no way I'm going to sacrifice my happiness or my dreams for a man. Imagine not being able to have more kids because your ex already has 2. That's disheartening, I know some of you might say having 4 kids isn't too much, but what if he can only afford to take care of 3? You won't want to have a baby and not be supported by the father of your child.
I'm a 3-time divorcee and I'm getting married for the 4th time in June. Now, many of you might be asking, why get married again? I asked that question too. And I'm going to get into it. So, after my 3rd divorce, I kind of decided marriage wasn't important to me. The most important thing for me was to find a lifelong partner, someone that I could just live my life with. I would date with the intention of, maybe I don't get married again, but this is someone that I want to be with for the rest of my life. Another point to make is, for me, kids have never been like the end all be all. Like, it's not my dream to have kids, but I'm also not like anti-kid. It's kind of, I would be okay if I had a kid. When my fiance and I started dating, we both were saying that we didn't want to get married because he's also previously married. So we were kind of like, okay, like we're cool if we just are lifelong partners. And I had said, even though we're not going to get married, I'd still like to have an engagement ring just to kind of have some kind of, sense. I don't have it on, but something to just say that I am like committed, blah, blah, blah.
So let me get this straight. You and your partner affirm from the beginning that the both of you are not getting married, right? And yet you are the same person wanting him to give you some kind of a ring for the relationship to make sense or to be seen as important to you. But at the same time, you don't want to get married. Now you're getting married. The whole thing is just confusing to me. Some people just love the idea of a wedding without the marriage. I'm just glad she doesn't have kids with this man.
So we started talking more, and I kind of brought up the story of my cousin who was living in California at the time. She got into a very bad water slide accident where her face kind of like fell off. And at the time, she's a lesbian, so at the time she was with her partner, and this was before California legalized gay marriage. And she had told us that even though they were like in a partnership or whatever, that her girlfriend or partner wasn't able to make any medical decisions or receive medical information regarding my cousin after her accident. And for some reason, I guess certain states have different laws. So we were talking about that. I was like, oh, I should look into this, like what the laws are in North Carolina, what the laws are in Illinois, because this was when we were debating where we would be living. And, it says that the only people that can make medical decisions for you, because in this instance I was like thinking specifically a coma, or if me and him had kids outside of being married and something happened during childbirth, like who's going to be making those decisions, blah blah blah. And like, unless you have a power of attorney, someone like my fiance, if we weren't getting married, they're like on the last, they're not even top 5. It goes like your adult children, if you have any, I think your parents, and then adult siblings, and then some other family members, and then that. But I was just thinking, why even mess with the whole power of attorney? Because like we had to make sure we would have it on our phones at all times, blah blah blah. So we based our decision getting married off of that.
This is why there are some certain situations that you need to know what you need versus what you want. So you got married to this man based on probability, something that has not happened yet, something that you're even thinking about it, you're not even sure about, and you got married to this person knowing fully well the guy don't want to remarry and you don't also want to have kids. Like why are people like this? Why are people so complicated?
Because we also decided, if we end up having kids, because there are a lot of different factors that could prevent us from having kids. So if we do end up having kids, it just made sense that, if things were to happen, either one of us can make medical decisions without having to wait for, say my family coming from out of state to come and make whatever decisions. Again, I don't know how any of that works. I don't know if things have changed, like if phone calls and stuff like that, but that was kind of basically where we're like, okay, like.
Someone wrote in the comments, your family getting the wedding invite, I'm just tired. And she's just laughing. I don't think I can do this. No matter how much I love a person, like going to a wedding, they're getting married the fourth time. I don't think I'm doing that. Someone actually asked a valid question here. I need to know how you liked 4 separate men enough to marry them. And her response was, the first 3 I wasn't totally obsessed with. I was just more confused about just being in a relationship. Like 3 times?
Sarah, it's your 4th time getting married. Stop making a big deal about it. It's not even like that exciting. Okay, 2 things. 1, 2 of those marriages were courthouse weddings, whatever. 1 of them, no one even knew about until I was getting divorced. And 2, this is the most important thing. I'm actually in love with this one. So yeah.
Are you sure? Like, are you really, really sure you're in love with this person? Because that's what you said the last 3 times you got married to those 3 men. Remember? At the altar? God, this must be an expensive hobby.
It's not something that we need to do at all. We know that we're riding this life out together, so a marriage is not what we needed to do. So I was kind of surprised because we sort of talked about not needing to do it. So I was surprised, but very moved, and of course I'm going to marry the one I should have always married. 4th is the new charm. Just want everybody to know. 4th time is the new charm.
She is tired. You can hear from her tone that she is exhausted. And I don't think she told that man that she don't want to get married the 4th time.
I've been married 4 times. I have 8 kids by 4 men. And when I say that, the most common comment that I get is, well, who's the common denominator, right? And that's like the easiest thing to say to somebody. It's like, well, you've been married 4 times. Obviously, the first 3 left you, which isn't true. I left them. But either way, it's like, okay, well, you were totally the problem. In fact, my own mother, whenever I was getting cheated on in my first and second relationship, said to me, well, what are you doing to cause them to want to cheat on you? And I internalized that totally, right? And I started thinking to myself, it is me. I must not be a good enough wife. I must not be a pretty enough wife. I must not be cooking dinner enough. I need to lose weight. And I literally did everything that I could to make myself into the perfect wife so that the 3rd husband wouldn't cheat on me. And guess what? I still got cheated on. And side note, what's funny is that I've only lived in this town for 10 years that I live in right now, and I moved here with my 3rd husband, so most of my friends here probably don't even know that I've been married 4 times. They think I've only been married twice. Until I go to school to register my kids, and I'm like, yeah, I'm the girl with all the kids with all the last names.
This is why you need to love yourself more. Self-love should be the most important thing that a parent can teach their child. Because there's no way you will go above and beyond for this man and still get cheated on. And I'm sorry she went through this, but no, men are not worth it. They are not worth the time, the effort to be kept.
How many times have you been married?
Fuck. Well, technically 3, but 4 times. The first one got annulled, so that doesn't count.
And what does annulled mean? What, people just disagree or the ref says no or whatever?
I guess kind of like the ref says no. We just weren't married long enough.
Oh.
It was like literally, I think maybe a couple weeks after getting married, it was like, this ain't working.
Oh, yeah, it is, yeah. And they should have a thing where a month later your friends get to send a ballot kind of, and it's like...
Yeah.
Something like that.
I think annulment should be increased to 3 months. Because some people get married after 3 months and 6 months into the marriage, they realize that the people they are married to is a piece of trash. Okay, some people keep their character, some men, some women keep their character hidden until when they are married. To them, they think like, since I'm now the wife or since I'm now the husband, I don't need to put up all this facade anymore, And along the line, you realize that, well, I just got married to this person. What will people say? What will people think? Maybe they will change. And you realize that 2 years, 5 years into this thing, they never change. And this is why I think it should be increased to 6 months, at least 3 months.
The reason I've gotten married 6 times is because men just love proposing to me. Of course, I divorced all of them, I cheated on all of them, it didn't work out, but they love to propose. Just something about me, like within like 2 weeks of meeting me, that's like ring on my finger. And it's not always a nice ring. Like, I'm not confrontational at all, so it's like, what am I gonna do? Say no? It's like, I love being a wife. But honestly, at this point, I kind of think marriage isn't for me. Like, I've done this 6 times. I'm 23. 7th time is probably not going to be a charm. But that being said, I'm seeing this really cute guy right now. So, who knows?
Nah, bro, you connecting dots. You Da Vinci coding this shit without the code.
And this is because serial daters are convinced that having a wider pool of people will inevitably mean that the ideal one can be found. Serial daters are obsessed with the ideal mate. And because dating apps make it seem like there's always going to be someone better out there, the serial dater is in a self-fulfilling and, in my opinion, self-destructive relationship with the dating apps. Although serial daters date tens of hundreds of potential candidates, they are very, very picky. Remember, they're obsessed with finding the ideal partner. So they are perpetually on the apps. Just note that the logic of a serial dater is always very contradictory, but it is, in my opinion, always very fascinating.
I want to ask all the second wives who are now divorced from their husbands. You were the second wife of that person. What was the story you fell for? What was the pity party? What was the manipulation? What was the lie that you were told to get you to marry this person? Did you feel sorry for them? Was there something with the children? Was there woe is me? They needed help. What was it about this man that drew you in so that you became the second wife and now you're divorced? I want to know, how did they get you?
First of all, don't you ever, I'm begging you with everything you owe dearly to your heart, don't you ever date a man out of pity. Okay? I did that once and that man gave me PTSD. Till today, I still deal with some of those things. Someone wrote, my current husband told me she was not. She's in fact not. I'm slowly becoming not, and my husband is the common dominator. Can you imagine? The second person wrote, third wife here. He claimed his first wife was crazy. Second wife never loved him and only married him for his benefits. I'm the head of clown of my own circus. Someone also wrote, first wife here. I did everything he said I did. That is funny. The lie, I was his second wife. I was his fourth. You see, this is what I'm talking about. Why would you marry someone the fourth time? They didn't change and fix anything that was wrong with them the first and second time. And you think it will be better the fourth time? And the last person wrote, I'm the second wife. He never spoke any ill towards his first wife. And we have now been married 26 years. This is what I'm talking about. I can marry a first time divorcee. But a second time, a third time, you will never catch me there. Because what makes you think the marriage is going to get better with you?
A lot of men get married because they think it's time. They settle down with the woman who's in front of them. The woman who's most convenient, the woman who checks the most boxes, not because he genuinely wants her or even genuinely loves her. It's because she's there at the time.
This is one of the reasons whenever I'm having a conversation with a man and he said, oh, I'm ready to settle down. I need a wife. I need kids. I want family. Don't get me wrong. Although it's good to put everything you want on the table so that you won't be misled, majority of the time, it was never love. Okay, that is why they end up with women that they hate, women that they complain and nag about to their friends, that they belittle to their friends. To them, as long as you can cook, clean, bear them kids, respect and obey, you are the right candidate. Okay, they see you as a wife material and they are willing to do this over and over. They don't care.
I've been married 4 times now. I'm sure people watching from the outside were like, what is this girl's problem? You saw kind of a compulsive behavior. What I portrayed to the world was, oh, this didn't work out, and it's fine, and I'm good, and they're good, and they were great, and I was great. And all of that was kind of
Katie Price just got married for a 4th time to a man she met in person for the first time less than a week ago. She started speaking to businessman Lee Andrews, and within days, they'd got matching tattoos and decided to buy rings for each other. This was just days after she called off her engagement to JJ Slater. Katie then flew over to Dubai, got engaged almost as soon as she landed, and a day later she was married. She says she's giving Lee the best version of herself, but an insider close to the family say they are reeling from the news. Katie's mum and her children had no idea about the wedding and know nothing about Lee.
Marriage is a beautiful thing when you find the right person, and no one is perfect. Some people are just serial daters, whether they know it or not. Anytime a man tells you his ex is crazy, 8 out of 10, he is the crazy one. For someone to be telling you that they are divorced 3 times means something is wrong with them. You cannot tell me otherwise. Because what makes you think the 4th one will last? Unless both couples are getting married for personal gain, which mostly is found in men. I know this might be a stretch, but before you get married to a 2 or 3 times divorcee, make sure you consult the exes, at least to have a clearer picture of what you're getting yourself into. That is all I have to say for this topic. Let me know what you think, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.
Because oftentimes you would date that married man, and when he go back to his wife, now you're villainizing him when you knew from the beginning. Now listen, I understand paperwork is foul, but you know what they say, it ain't over until it's over.
Yeah, I was also gonna add, a lot of grief comes with endings. And even though it may be a situation to where he's like ready to move on and he's ready to file for a divorce and he's ready to build a life with you, but like Ace just said, some people don't know that grief is still there because they're running from it. And sometimes you are the distraction that isn't giving them the opportunity to fully grieve. And so my advice to you would be to create some distance and allow him to go through his process, because you might meet a completely different man on the other side of that process. Give him the space to breathe. You reclaim your power and not be so tied into his situation. Let him fix his situation. Let him be a man. Let him close that ceremonial ending to his marriage the proper way without you being a distraction that's making him be emotionally forgetful of all of the love that was there. Because what's going to be really difficult is if the paperwork is filed and you think you're about to get the man of your dreams and you get a man that's still grieving his ex-wife.